Hello, hello, hello. Hope you're all okay. I think we're going to admit a few more people. My name's Paul Cisse, and it's a great pleasure to have you here on a Monday morning. Monday afternoon, should I say, it's 12 o'clock. And I'm the founder of the National Diversity Awards, and we have an exciting webinar for you all today to take you all through the processes of the National Diversity Awards, about evidence, nominations, what the awards is all about. We have an esteemed panel as well. Yeah. And this year marks the 14th edition of the National Diversity Awards, a milestone that reflects both the longevity and the growing impact of the event. In just 3 years and 3 weeks, should I say, we've received over 15,000 nominations and votes, which speaks volumes about the enthusiasm and commitment of our communities right across the UK. And each year, the awards attract an astounding 90,000 nominations and votes, which is phenomenal, underscoring our widespread passion for celebrating diversity, inclusion, and excellence across the UK in our communities. So our process is rigorous as it's inspiring, with 1,600 shortlisted nominees and over 200 award winners. The talent and achievements we celebrate are just truly remarkable, and it's just amazing from where it's come from. And since the inception of the awards, we've had over 350 to 400,000 votes and nominations that have been cast, making it a long-standing tradition of recognising excellence and championing diversity. I'd like to also take a moment to dedicate our dedicated team behind the event. So our team is absolutely amazing. They work tirelessly, and our esteemed panel of judges and experts committed to fairness and excellence that plays a pivotal role in evaluating every nomination, which is phenomenal. Equally important is our tireless team of volunteers and support staff who work diligently behind the scenes to make the National Diversity Awards possible. And obviously, of course, our sponsors, which you've got our headline sponsor here today. And we're also pleased to announce that ITV News, if you've seen it a couple of weeks ago, will be covering the awards on the regional and national channels. They had spotlighted some of the shortlisted nominees a couple of weeks ago from last year. And we're pleased to say that we had last year and approximately 60 million people across the world that was engaged with the National Diversity Awards, a testament to the influence and reach of this phenomenal event. And also say, I say a heartfelt, generous thank you to our sponsors and also to the amazing communities right across the UK. I mean, these awards wouldn't be what they are without the communities, and highlighting the amazing communities that are doing vital work across the UK. But before we proceed, I want to tell you about some important notes. So nominations close on the 14th of May. So still get your nominations in. The shortlist will be announced on the 25th of June. And obviously, the award ceremony will take place on the 19th of September in the Anglican Cathedral again. Claire Baldwin will be hosting it, which is fantastic. And we'll have a plethora of celebrities. But really and truly, you lot are the celebrities, which is great. So today, we'll be walking you through every step from the initial call from nominations through the detailed and transparent voting and shortlisting stages to the final celebration of our award winners. We'll discuss each phase which ensures fairness, and these inspiring awards will basically show you the process, what happens within the National Diversity Awards. So thank you for joining us. Make sure you have it in the chat where you're from, what kind of area you're from in the UK, what's your kind of diversity. We'd love to hear from yourselves. But before that, I'd love to introduce our panel. Are you there, panel? Can you turn your mics on, if that's okay? No, cams on, not mics. Thank you. So today we have an esteemed panel. I'm going to start with our amazing HSBC headline sponsor, Coral Taylor. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure, thanks, Paul. Hi everyone, I'm Coral and I am the Head of Diversity and Inclusion at HSBC UK. I'm hoping you can see me on the big screen because I don't know how those buttons work and Paul's in charge, so hope that works. I just want to say that we are incredibly proud at HSBC to sponsor the National Diversity Awards, really for the recognition that's given to individuals and groups who are making such a positive impact on diversity and inclusion in our country. And at HSBC, we really do understand that as a large bank, we do play a role in society, which is why we partner with organisations such as the National Diversity Awards, really so that we can lean in to support activities for a better, more inclusive society wherever possible. And let's be frank, diverse communities are just the backbone of the UK. That you and all of you are what makes the UK work. You know, every individual, every organisation that's nominated for these awards, you're just heroes. You're absolutely heroes. You're helping to make diversity work in the society for all of us. So basically, I'm in awe. I'm in awe every time I'm on these calls, and it's an absolute honour to be involved with so many people who are making such a positive difference to the greater country.
Thank you, Colin, and we really appreciate all your kind of efforts to promoting the National Diversity Awards. We did a fantastic event a couple of months ago, and we also do a spotlighted kind of pre award ceremony before the award ceremony, which we did last year, which was amazing. Great to hear all the stories that come out from all the shortlisted nominees, which is fantastic, and thank you so much. Next, we're going to go to two of our judges now. It's not easy being a judge for the National Diversity Awards, and I think they'll tell you that themselves. But I want to introduce you to them. First of all, we'll go to Donna Fraser, who is an Olympian as well. If you don't know, you should know who Donna is. She's absolutely famous. So, Donna, would you like to just introduce yourself?
Thank you so much, Paul, and hello everyone. It's great to have so many people joining this webinar. So yes, my name's Donna Fraser, OBE. I'm a four-time Olympian in athletics, and I'm now the Director of People, Equity, Diverse Inclusion at the Professional Cricketers Association. This is my third year as a judge, so I'm really looking forward to reading all the fantastic nominations this year.
And we've got someone, Nathan said, "Hi Donna, big fan, you're such an inspiration." So yeah, and you're inspiration to us all. Dava Hashmi?
Thanks, Paul. I'm Dawar Hashmi. I run the recruitment business at Penna. We specialize in recruiting senior leaders across local government and the public sector. I also chair a few judging panels for various awards like the Chief Executive of the Year Award and the Council of the Year, but this one is by far my favorite.
Thank you. And, it's a truly honor to have you as judges. I know the passion, look, you've been with us for quite a few years now. And I just want to thank you for all your hard work and dedication, because I know it is not easy at all, which we'll go through. And last but not least, our positive role model for gender winner last year at the National Diversity Awards, Jess Rad. She's absolutely amazing. Absolutely love her energy. Yes, could you just introduce yourself?
Yes, thanks, Paul. It's a pleasure to be here. So my name is Jess Rad. I'm the founder of The Womanhood, which is a platform advancing gender equity by destigmatizing the unspoken challenges of womanhood. We do talks and workshops in businesses to help them close their gender gaps. I'm also a proud ambassador for Amaze, which is a brilliant SEND charity down here in Sussex, and a solo mother and co-parent carer to two brilliant children.
Fantastic, thank you. And thank you all for joining as well. So we'll go and dive straight in. And first and foremost, I'm going to ask our headline sponsor, Coral, who's absolutely been in the D&I world for many, many years. I've known it for many years, and she's so passionate about these awards. But could you share with us what it means for HSBC UK to be a headline sponsor, not only for this year, but for next year and the previous year before?
I love that, Paul. I think the big thing is that it means that we can work with organisations who are making a difference. We can be there to actually use our position to help you to get recognised, help you to get noticed, so that we can, help to build up your communications as well. It's just that you can do the things that we can't do. So for us, it's all about working and making a difference for the wider UK.
Fantastic. And obviously you was with us last year and the year before that, I think, as well. What was your standouts for that? You experienced the awards. What was it like for you personally? And was there any kind of standout kind of things that that stood out for you?
Crikey, it's difficult to say a standout. First of all, for anyone that's coming to the awards, you will not know the event itself. You show up at the event and it blows your mind every time I walk into the cathedral, because it is at the Anglican Cathedral in Liverpool. It's just stunning. I'm there, I'm taking pictures and sending them home to the kids because it's just amazing. It really is, and it's all there for you because you deserve it. It's just amazing. It really is. If I was to say the standouts, though, in terms of individuals, I cannot pick a standout. I really can't. Every time I meet someone or every time I hear a new story, they become my favorite because absolutely everyone is amazing. And if I think about, some of the people that are nominated, the youngest are young children. I remember meeting, at the showcase, one of the winners was 12 years old. The oldest was 97. And you've got every type of diversity in between, and every single person deserves to be there. So my standout is just how many amazing people I get to meet through this process. I can't pick one because everyone just blows my mind every time I hear from them.
That is so true. And as the founder, Cole, as you know, I go around to every single table on the night. I don't want to miss anybody out. And on that table, you'll have someone from different strands of diversity from right across the UK, especially, when it's kind of a number of nominees on one table. And I'll ask them, where are you from? I'm from Scotland. I'm from Devon and Cornwall. I'm from Leeds. I'm from Birmingham. And we've got some people on here that are from right across the UK, which is phenomenal. North Wales, South Wales, everywhere else in between. So it's just amazing to see the reach of the National Diversity Awards. And obviously, there's such an excitement in there as well. And nobody can tell me that diversity doesn't work because we're all very different. And we all have our own strands of diversity, but we should all be celebrating each other and just clapping each other that we're doing vital work in the UK. And so that's what we love about the awards as well. So just like to put that one in there. Any other kind of things that, what you've got planned for the National Diversity Awards in the next coming months?
Do you know what? I'm just looking forward to it. So I think you spoke to it earlier about how we try to provide a bit of extra support to the awards. So the awards itself is an amazing, amazing event. And we can't top that, quite frankly, as HSBC. And I wouldn't even want to try because it's just so amazing. But what we do provide is a showcase event, which we will be hosting in our Birmingham offices, which is where I'm sat at the moment. Lovely Birmingham. Can't speak about it highly enough, especially on a sunny day like today. But it's an opportunity for some of our finalists to come together to meet each other and get to know each other as well. And of course, we'll look after you on the day. We'll provide you with a little bit of entertainment, some nice food as well. And really, we're trying to find new ways that we can support you to help you to be the best you can be on the night.
Thank you, Carol. And I want to give you people out there some idea why the National Diversity Awards started before we go on to our judges. And it started really, I don't want to go too much deep into the story of myself, but I was fostered, went through the foster care system, didn't have any parents, and there was a guy that took me under his wing in Liverpool called James Class. And, he made me believe in myself. To cut a long story short, he sadly passed away with cancer, and he filled out the Anglican Cathedral, where we hold it every year, with well wishes. Now, the Anglican Cathedral is one of the largest cathedrals in Europe, and people were standing at the back of that cathedral wishing him well. And I know for a fact he didn't know that he was loved by so many people, not only in his own community but outside of his community. And I just thought it's really important to tell people that you are doing great work in your community. You are role models. You are making a difference. So we deliberately designed the National Diversity Awards so that people during the nomination, whether you've been shortlisted or not, get to hear about the fantastic work that you're all doing in the UK. And just to basically to highlight, thank you. Thank you for doing what you're doing. Thank you for all that you do, because many of you do it with not much kind of resources. It's really struggling out there, especially in this day and age, but you do it for the love of making your communities better. And that's why the National Diversity Awards came to being, and that's why it continues to thrive, because we love to highlight your amazing people, you amazing people and communities out there. And so when it comes to nominations and when it comes to nominations and votes, this is what makes it so very difficult, because we have so many different types of diversities out there in different community organizations. So next we're going to go on to our esteemed judges, just to highlight, to them what this means to them, and basically, what the process of being a judge is. I'm going to start with yourself, Darva, if you don't mind, and tell me how long you've been a judge and what the process of being a judge is.
Yeah, thanks, Paul. Now, this is going to be my 4th year, and I always say that this is one of the hardest things I do each year. And I'm not exaggerating. The volume of nominations is huge. Last year, you mentioned it, we had over 90,000 nominations. And the quality is incredible. So in terms of the process, each judge is paired with another, and we are then assigned a specific category. And I've had the honor of being paired with Donna. So for me, not only has this been a real privilege, but also a real fanboy moment. As judges, we go through each nomination one by one. And honestly, it can be emotional, humbling, and really inspiring. It's not just reading names and ticking boxes. It's really understanding people's journeys, what they've overcome, and the kind of impact that they're actually having in their communities.
Absolutely. And Donna, would you like to add anything to that?
Yeah, I mean, Darwa has said we've been partnered now for my 3 years that I've been a judge, and it's been absolutely phenomenal. And we talk about diversity, and I think all the judges have something diverse to bring to the table, which makes it even more authentic. Going through that process, we debate, we challenge each other, we're respectful throughout the entire process. And I think that's really important for those on this particular webinar to really understand that we're extremely transparent in what we do. The process is very robust. We will challenge, absolutely. If we believe in something, that we will challenge each other, as I said, respectfully. But I think it's really also important to understand that end-to-end process. We can only judge what we're reading, so we don't know what we don't know. So it's really important for you as nominees to make sure that you put everything in there that is evidence-based. And Darwa mentioned that it's a very emotional roller coaster for us, because I've been in tears, I've been smiling, I've been laughing. It's been such a fantastic experience. But until you write down, we can only read what you put down on paper. We don't know what you're doing. So don't over or underestimate the work that you're doing, because it is extremely valuable and also inspirational. So I just wanted to add that.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. Some people just don't like to big themselves up, as it were, and don't like to write down their achievements. And I think, if that is the case, maybe get someone to help you as well to do that. Maybe get a friend or someone in your community just to sit there and go, okay, well, what do you think that we do? And use some of your votes and your evidence that you've done throughout the year, which is vitally important. And obviously, as judges, obviously you look for certain things. We have the nomination process, the voting process. What are the standouts for you? Share how the judging panel, what is the judging panel looking for, in the evidence that they bring. And just before we do that, I think evidence is really key. So, we have lots of nominations out there, and what sets other people apart and other community organizations is the evidence that they bring, so data and so on and so forth. But what stands out for you? I'm going to go to yourself, Donna, first.
Yeah, sure. I think that authentic language, because it's easy to put a nomination in and copy and paste sometimes. But if you've got that authentic language, we as judges can really read through that. of course, the positive impact that you're having is extremely important. The testimonials to back that up, the evidence coming through. But for me, as we've said, we do it independently. So I don't know what Darwa is thinking about until we come together and debate. But that sustainability and the reach of your project that you're working on is really important, because we don't want a one-hit wonder. We want these great things to continue. So it goes beyond just getting the votes. It's also what you're actually doing and how sustainable that is. I just want to point out one thing as well. We all as judges need to declare our conflict of interest. So there is no, backhanders or biasness in there whatsoever. So we are all above board in everything that we're doing. But those are the things that mean a lot to me. And of course, there's always inspiration in everything, the great work that's going on across the UK. And also, we don't just focus on London, on South centric. It has to be UK wide. And I think that's what makes the NDAs extra special. There, it is UK wide.
Absolutely. And I am rigorous to sit there and say, if you know any of them, you have to declare it, otherwise it will omit their nomination. And I've got to say, between judges, I think you alluded to it before, there was actually, strong communications between two judges where they don't know who to put through. They can go on for a couple of days, actually. Well, we want this one, I want this one. They come up with different lists. And then if that happens and they can't make a decision, it will go to independent judges as well. I mean, that's an important thing to say. And we are genuine in our kind of commitment to making sure that we shortlist and nominate the best people that are part of the National Diversity Awards. But I've got to say, even if you're not shortlisted, it doesn't take away from the great work that you are already doing. And we've had many people that haven't been shortlisted for 1 year that have gone for it next year and actually been shortlisted or won. So don't give up is what I'll say as well. Don't be too disheartened if you don't make it. We do have that many nominations and votes. But Dara, sorry, I kind of took over your answer. But do you want to emulate some more stuff? What it means for you?
Yeah,
what
thanks,
you're looking
Paul.
for.
Thanks, Paul. For me, it's what Donna said. The big thing is impact. Not in terms of how many Instagram followers someone has or how loud their profile is. It's actually about what difference they've made to people's lives. Sometimes it's individuals or organizations, and they're working in the background, not seeking attention, but changing lives. That kind of social impact, especially when it's grassroots, it really stands out to me. And we don't just go on the number of votes. That is important to say. Voting is great, but it's not a popularity contest. This is about reach, influence, and legacy.
I've got to say as well, even the votes as well, just it's what the votes say. You could only have, and I say this, and I said this from the very beginning, and I'm sorry, I seem to be talking quite a lot, but just trying to get some of the processes out there. If you're helping maybe 14 people in Dunfermline with LGBTQ plus rights or people with disabilities, it's what those votes say. In there, we can say this is a great person. They're doing great. That's great. That's not what the judges are looking for. They're looking for the real personal stories, that how someone has helped them personally, how that community organisation or that individual has helped them personally within their communities, and that's kind of what the judges are looking for as well. Again, it doesn't have to be a popularity. We've had people with 5 votes that have been shortlisted and won. We've had people with many hundreds of votes that have won as well and been shortlisted. So I just wanted to make sure that, it's not a popularity contest as well. I'm sorry, my questions have gone off here. Just 1 second. So for your own kind of personal story, can you share any success stories? And can you just, Donna, actually, could you take us through what we discussed before about how you and Darbar last year was actually to and fro about Victor Shortlist?
Yes, it was definitely an interesting one. And both Darwa and I, we definitely identified that we're very competitive. And what we want, we will aim to get. And last year's judging process, when all the judges came together, we were battling with another category with one person, which toed and froed. In the end, we were the bigger group, and relinquished the one we wanted to win, and at the end of the day both individuals were able to get something, so no one lost out. But it was just such a great dynamic in terms of the conversations that we had when we came together. It showed the passion that the judges have, and also highlighted that this person absolutely deserved it because we were all singing from the same song sheet. But as I said from the very beginning, that we did it respectfully, but we definitely had the fisticuffs out. But it just goes to show the authenticity of the process, that it's okay, it's not a tick box exercise by no means. But in terms of the standout, like Coral said earlier, it's really difficult to pinpoint one individual because they're all absolutely fantastic, all the winners that I've come across. But for me, from a personal note, my parents are in their 90s, and Clovis Salmon, who won the Lifetime Achievement Award last year, absolutely blew my mind. At his age, still doing great work in the community. To me, that is inspirational in itself. So if you've been nominated and don't win this time round, that should be something that you aspire to, just to keep going. And of course, I know everyone doesn't do their things just to get awards. It's not about that. It's making that positive difference, impact within their communities. But he was absolutely an inspiration for me, for sure.
Absolutely. Agava.
Yeah, absolutely. Three people come to mind straight away. First, it's Jess, who's actually here with us today. I don't want to steal her thunder, but Jess won Positive Role Model for Gender. And to this day, I still remember her acceptance speech and her message, where she talked about every change that you make has a ripple effect on others. And that really stuck with me. It's so true. And it reflects what these awards are all about. And then there was George Tappenden. Now, George was just 13 when he won. And I remember thinking, wow, what was I doing at 13? And his courage, his drive, his maturity, they were just next level. And Donna's talked about Clovis Salmon, at 97 years old, a Windrush pioneer, a cycling technician, a retired minister, and the UK's first black documentary filmmaker. I mean, his whole life is a story of resilience and leadership. I was genuinely in awe.
Yeah. Coral, is there anybody that stands out for you as well? Obviously, you went to the showcase. You hosted the showcase, should I say? Is there anybody that stands out for you that you think? I know you kind of didn't want to allude to that, but there must be
it's
someone.
just because as I went through my list, I kept changing my mind, quite frankly. I remember, and I can't remember their name, there was a couple who came on and they were talking about how they'd set up their own charity. And they seemed such an ordinary, lovely couple, but they'd set up a charity that was bringing water and food and education to places in the Caribbean and also in Africa where there wasn't any. And they were doing this, very, very ordinary people who were making a difference there. They blew my mind. George was at the event. Jess was at the event. I was talking to somebody who'd set up Cornwall Pride as well. Bringing support to the LGBTQ plus population in an area where people cannot actually absolutely be isolated by the geography. I could go on because absolutely everyone in the room that I spoke with, was just amazing.
Thank you. And you know what? We've on the chat today, we've got so many people from different backgrounds, different areas of the UK. Can I just ask a question to all you people out there? How many have you been nominated for the awards this year? Just put it yes if you have. If you've been nominated for the awards this year. Oh. Fantastic, lots coming through here. And how many are thinking about nominating, or have nominated somebody else? Fantastic, absolutely amazing. And like I said, I'm looking through the chat now. I'm just going to go through here. We've got someone from Ariel follows. Nikki and Rachel, how are you doing? I just wanted to I love to interact with people. We've got Ryan here on behalf of Burgess Salmon. It's and somebody said the NDAs is truly magical. Hello from Hereford. I'm an accessibility consultant focusing on inclusive marketing and accessible communications. Cumbria, I'm an accountant specializing in neurodiversity and disabled entrepreneurs. Thrilled to be nominated for Entrepreneur Excellence. The list goes on and on. We've got a creative director from Formidability, where disabled-led, female-led, artist-led opera company based in Birmingham. So excited to be nominated. I mean, you know, how can we separate you lot from out there? It's just phenomenal. It really is, and we're so proud to host these all. And hopefully you get shortlisted. And but yeah, we hope to see you very, very soon. But we're going to go on to one of our winners from last year, which is Jess Rads. Now, Jess, honestly, your kind of energy is infectious. I can see why lots of people kind of voted for you and nominated you. Could you tell me, go through the process, what you went through as regards to your journey with the nomination process, from the very first email going through to be shortlisted?
Yes, it's a pleasure, because it was such a privilege and it's been such an extraordinary experience, I have to say. I remember coming off a call and seeing in my inbox that I'd been nominated, and I hadn't actually heard of the National Diversity Awards at that point. So I quickly looked you up, and it became apparent as I went through this journey just what a prestigious award you are. Two people had actually nominated me, one that I'd never even met, and I still haven't met him. He just follows me on Instagram. He's an amazing neurodiversity advocate, and I talk a lot about neurodiversity as well. So I kind of delved into what the process involved, and as we've already discussed, it became clear that this isn't a popularity contest, which gave me a lot of confidence, I suppose, because I don't have the biggest social following. And it made me realise that this wasn't going to be a case of just trying to get the most votes, and it was obvious that that wasn't how you win it anyway. It was about quality, and you make that clear in the process. So then it kind of came to stepping outside your comfort zone a bit, because firstly you have to reflect on, you know, put your own evidence forward, but reflect on, okay, what impact have I actually had, and have that, you know, reflection on the things that maybe you don't spend time thinking about. You're usually just too busy trying to have the impact. So I did that, reflected on my key achievements, the impact I thought I might have had, the barriers I'd overcome, what it would mean to me if I won. And then I went out and asked people to vote for me, which, particularly as a woman, I would suggest, you're not really socially conditioned to self-promote. Often people feel quite concerned about coming across as arrogant, is what I hear from lots of people. So yeah, I had to go out and ask people, and also specified that this isn't a quantity process, this is a quality one. So if you can take a moment to really share what impact I may have had, and I shared the criteria. And when I got to read those votes, I shared this at the showcase. I hadn't actually been able to read them at first, so suddenly I got a whole influx of them. And I'd been going through quite a challenging time last year anyway, with divorce and an appeal process for my daughter, and lots of advocacy for her, and my mum going through cancer and all sorts. So actually, when I got to read all of these votes, I just sat in bed and sobbed for about an hour, I think, because I realized, wow, you know, you don't often hear really from people. You get to hear testimonials, which is lovely, but there was something quite extraordinary about seeing such an influx of lovely words written about you. I think it was you, Paul, that actually said one of what you wanted for people was to recognize while you're alive the impact that you're having, and that's how it felt. It was a bit like an obituary. I died and I was reading what people might have said about me after I'd gone, but it was amazing to actually be able to read it while I'm still here. Yeah, it was an amazing process to go through for the whole time.
And was you able to utilize any of those votes and that people gave you? How have you utilized that yourself, whether you've been shortlisted or not? You know, how have you used that?
Yeah, well, you have to, when you're an entrepreneur, you have to get comfortable with sharing your success because if you don't, nobody else will. So I have shared those online, and I also go out and tell other people to get part of this process, because even if you don't get to shortlist, even if you don't win, just going through that it brings you such joy. And as you said, if you're not successful in that first year, then it's worth coming back again. I can see, we've seen in the chat how many people are going through it. I've even seen some names that I recognize actually, and I'm like, yes, they would be brilliant and so deserving of it. So yeah, it's been a wonderful journey.
What advice would you give to people then? Obviously, people are feeling a little way. I think my advice before you answer that is, maybe get somebody else to help you share as well. Just we are all uncomfortable. I don't like talking about my achievements. I think most people are like that, but absolutely, you're doing vital work, and the fact that you're getting out there and you're helping other people. You just say, do you mind just give me a little vote, and could you share it? And that's it. Could you share it for me? I think that's a great way to do that. And just write what you think I've done for you, if I've helped you in any kind of way. It's just like a testimonial. If you're going out there for a company and you go and say, could you write me a testimonial, please, just about what I've done? That would be amazing. So yeah, any other nuggets that you would give, or any advice would you give anybody else that's going through this?
I think it's really powerful to step outside your comfort zone, and to, in life generally, get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Asking people to vote for you is not necessarily a comfortable experience, but it's a great one to do, particularly if you're doing any work that is in the kind of social impact world, where you might not necessarily have other ways of that being recognised, to actually be forced to pause and reflect for yourself that you are worthy of asking people for their perspectives. I think that's just a really powerful experience in itself. And yeah, you can ask other people to help you along your way. I think part of lots of life's journey is getting comfortable with asking for and receiving help. And so many of us can be challenged by that. We live in a loneliness pandemic that nobody's talking about. So how can you enroll other people in your journey? And yeah, don't do it alone if you don't feel comfortable doing that.
I've got to add myself that it is not a popularity contest. I want to get that out there. It's not, the votes are a little bit of an importance, but it's not the be all and end all. It is the evidence that you bring to the table. What kind of evidence did you bring yourself, Jess?
Yes, so I did take some time, I remember, really refining my answers to the questions and making sure that I was in the word limit, because as an ADHD, I could definitely go over. And yeah, collecting some testimonials that I already had from my work, but also any interviews that I had, online, video, press, and putting lots of links in so that it could be verified, I suppose. It wasn't just my opinion, but I have been doing work in lots of different places for a little while now.
Thank you. Yeah. And I've got to say, like I've said before, some people have only had like 5 or 6 votes, and but it's what they've said in them votes. It could be life transformational for some people. And this should absolutely be recognised. And put some data in there, which is always great. Some stats, which is about the reach or what you've done or the impact that you've had. I'm going to put it back to yourselves, Donna and Dava. Is there anything you else want to add that from that evidence kind of base that you look for?
Want to go, Dawa?
Okay, thanks, Donna. Yeah, just a couple of points. For me, it really is, I can't stress this, it really is nationwide. We get nominations from every part of the UK, big cities, small towns, rural communities, and from every sector and background. And it's such a powerful reminder that change makers exist everywhere. Look, being part of the National Diversity Awards as a judge is honestly, it's a real privilege. And every year as judges, we are reminded just how many unsung heroes are out there doing incredible work in their communities. It's inspiring, it's humbling, and it keeps me coming back. So if you are watching this and you're thinking of nominating someone, please do it. Whether it's a friend, a colleague, someone in your community, even yourself, because sometimes people doing the most powerful work don't shout about it. And that's exactly who we want to celebrate. I'm going to reiterate the point again. It is not a popularity contest. You know, Donna and I had several submissions last year where the votes, you know, the organizations that we had as finalists didn't have the most votes, but the impact that they had was phenomenal.
Yeah, definitely. Nothing more really to add, but you just touched upon it a moment ago, Paul, around the data. If you can gather some data, that is really useful as well. And it is a great tool. And I would often label anyone who's nominated silent heroes. And I said it already before, is you don't do what you do to get any awards. This is not what it's about. It's about the impact that you're having in your own communities. And sometimes we do need to shout from the rooftops about what we're doing and have that confidence to do so. And hopefully what you've heard today will help you do that. And I will repeat, we don't know what we don't know. So please put as much as you can in your nomination, and just be confident and just believe in what you do, and just be authentic with it along the way.
Yeah, I'm going to leave some time for Q&A as well, if that's okay. So if you've got any questions, please put them in the chat. We may be able to get you on the mic as well. So hopefully we get a couple of questions from our nominees, which would be really great. I'd just like to add a few different things that you may not know. Oh, sorry, before we do that, Jess, I did see your hand up. Do say what you need to say there. Sorry.
I was just going to add that the point is, if you're going to be nominated for this, it's because you're doing great work that's impacts people's lives, and actually you're giving them an opportunity to say thank you by voting for you. You know, that it's not just a one-way street here. People want to be able to say thanks for the impact that you've had, so you're actually doing them a service by asking.
And can I just add to what Jess has just said before we move on? And that's just that, again, I'm using the word just. I use the word just a lot, and I shouldn't, because some of the things, if you're being nominated, someone has taken the time and thinks that you're absolutely amazing and puts you forward. And you all say, well, that's just me. That's just what I do. But actually, those things that you do that you think are just you, just very ordinary, are actually extraordinary. They're changing somebody's life. They're inspiring someone to think differently, to act differently. So it's not just, and I do it myself, I'm really, really guilty of the just. You've got to be proud that the things that you're doing are extraordinary. So tell us about them so that we can help to celebrate that with you.
Absolutely, I couldn't say that better myself, Cole. So thank you. So a couple more things that you need to add as well. That our judging kind of process as well, and choosing the judges is not just saying we just don't just pick people out. We pick people that are genuine and want to make a difference within their own communities. It's very diverse as well. So we have people from every strand of diversity, and some former nominees and winners that are actually part of the judging panel as well. So there's kind of an alumni of people that can actually come forward and actually start judging for the awards too. And like I say, we always pair them with two judges, so that it's not just one judge that has the decision overall. It's like they do it independently. They come together, they share their shortlist, and often it is quite different because there's so many nominees. Sometimes there is a lot of synergies as well because there's some outstanding candidates out there. And then obviously when you come to the actual awards itself, we cater for everybody, so make sure it's completely accessible to people. So we have an accessible toilets out there and we even mobile loos outside, so people that need accessible toilets can utilize that. We make sure that we catered for every aspect of religious kind of connotations and accessibility needs. We make sure that we do everything from there, and then we come to the day of the actual awards. Coral alluded to it at the first, and we're going to go to Coral and the judges, but I'm going to go to Jess because there was a question in there. What was it like on the day of the National Diversity Awards, when you were shortlisted, and then 2, actually going to the awards itself, and 3, actually winning?
Well, shortlisted was just jaw-dropping. What? I cannot believe I'm one of so few. And then to hear that it's out of 90,000, I mean, I still have to say that every time. So I'm like, really? Is that the case? Just can't believe it. And then the absolute pleasure of being able to invite people to what everybody was saying. This is going to be such a night to remember. You know, you must dress up, you've got to make the most of it. It's really, really special. And obviously it didn't disappoint. It is such an extraordinary event and evening. It's massive. And you know, you have to give a speech in front of 600 people. It's lucky I like talking, you get paid to do that now, but it was still a bit, you know, scribbling it, changing it at the last minute in case I did win. And I really didn't expect to win, actually. I totally convinced myself, but on the night, no, it's not going to be me. So when I did find out, I think I just went into shock. Afterwards, my mum had to put a shawl over my shoulder because I'd gone all cold. But it was, yeah, just such a life-changing moment, really, to often go back to, yeah, recognizing that it's such an honor. I think when you are a social entrepreneur, particularly you've got certain characteristics about your identity that are probably working against you to build a business, then having something like this to fall back on and try and get rid of that fear and doubt that can undoubtedly cloud your mind at times, it feels really like a real privilege. And also I got to bring my mum there, and she is going through ovarian cancer, so to be able to have her there and witness this achievement was really, really special for me. I'll just never forget it.
Thank you. And we get that time and time again. And I'm going to say, I am the founder of the awards, and every time I go in that cathedral, I am in awe myself. I go in it and think, wow, it's just phenomenal. And it's not, but do you know what? It's not just the setting, it's the stories that come out of that. It's, you know, the emotion that comes out of the nominees is so awe-inspiring. So when we get to interview the people at the end of when they've won the award or been shortlisted, or even during the ceremony, you know, you can see the emotion. People don't believe that they deserve to be there. And I've got to say that you absolutely do deserve to be there, because you are the lifeblood of the UK. You are making people, you know, carry on, making people believe in themselves. You are making people just be themselves, and that is an amazing thing that you all do. So I just want to put that out there. Is it anybody else want to add with that on the actual day and what you get out of it? Anybody?
I think if I could.
Oh, sorry. Go on, Coral.
I was just going to say, if you could bottle the energy in the room and the positivity, I've never been anywhere like it. You know, it's everyone's so excited, and everyone wants everyone else to do well. You know, there's a lot of people going, oh, it shouldn't be me, but there's also just there's a room full of people that, you know, all deserve to be there, and everyone just wants to look out for each other. You know, you get to meet new people, you get to greet each other. I just think the energy that you get there, well, if I could bottle that up, you know, and release it everywhere, we'd be a really, really happy country. Let's just go with that.
Absolutely. Donna?
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the venue itself is just absolutely amazing. You couldn't beat it. I've not been in such a, apart from Buckingham Palace, probably, is just really up there. And the atmosphere for me, it almost felt like a family reunion. No one really knew each other, but you got to know people. And as a judge, having read a lot of those stories and then seeing them live on the stage was just absolutely mind-blowing. So I think I went through tears, laughter, goosebumps. And that is, the whole event is brought well together through Claire Baldwin's authenticity and genuine delivery. She's just such an amazing person. So for me, it's absolutely, I was drained by the end of the evening, to be honest, because I was like, I've got nothing left to give. I am absolutely worn out through emotions, but it's a fantastic evening. It was also an opportunity to make new connections and meet new people, and, you know, LinkedIn posts going left, right and centre. But Paul, you keep giving the gratitude and the thanks to everyone else, but without you, this would not be possible. So we can't forget what you do and the tireless hours you and your team put in. Keep us in check as judges as well. So I just wanted to commend what you do and getting this off the ground and for it to be such an amazing event.
Oh, you're making me blush. Thank you. But it's not just me, and I'm going to reiterate that I have an amazing team next to me. I never say behind me, next to me. Some have been working it from the very beginning, and they are just as much as the founders of the National University Awards as I am, because they just work tirelessly to make this happen every single year, as well as everybody else that's involved. You know, the sponsors, the judges, you know, the interpreters, the AV staff, everybody that's involved for many years. And I've got to say, Claire Baldwin doesn't do 3-year deals or 4-year deals, but she keeps coming back to the National University Awards because she absolutely loves it, and she just delivers it every single year, you know, flawlessly. And the last thing I'll say is there are celebrities that go there as well, so you can take a picture with a couple of celebrities if you like as well. Like Donna will be there and various others. It's great. So yeah. So we're going to pass it on to some questions. If you've got any questions, please ask them. We would love to hear from yourselves. If anybody wants to come on the mic, I think we've got Helen for action. Pardon? Oh, wait, I can't see the questions. Where are the questions? Sorry. Oh, right. I'll have a look in the chat. I'll try and get some. But if anybody wants to come on as well, that'd be really fantastic. If you want to just basically put your hand up and ask any questions to the judges, that would be amazing. I'm trying to find the chat because there's been that much engagement. Can we see any chat in the chat for me? Can I have a little help? Nathan. Well, Nathan, you're now live.
Hello, sorry, I was just trying to find out how to unmute my microphone. It's an absolute pleasure to be talking to you all today. I received my nomination a couple of weeks ago while I was on a charity event, and I was absolutely blown away. I've had three friends over the past few years be nominated, so now that I'm actually been nominated and with them, the fact that I can actually celebrate being nominated for such an amazing thing, it's massively overwhelming. I mean, obviously, I've come on today. I didn't expect to see Donna Fraser. I'm a massive fan. You're such an inspiration. Jess, you are such a beautiful person. You're just fantastic to listen to. So, yeah, I just want to say a massive thank you, Paul, for setting this sort of thing up. And I do have one question, though. I did put it in the chat for Donna. After everything you've had with the Olympics and creating such an amazing platform for yourself to be such an inspiration to others, how did you feel that changed your life to be able to support more people?
Yeah, I did do a brief response in the chat, but I'll answer it again. Yeah, I've always said as Olympians, high profile athletes, we have a duty of care to give back to community. So I have my fingers in so many different pies in terms of supporting different charities, being judges on the NDAs as an example. I'm an ambassador for breast cancer now because I've gone through that journey myself. But I do feel that sport has made me who I am today. I probably wouldn't be speaking how I am now if athletics wasn't in my life. It gave me a lot of confidence. It inspired me to keep going and going and going, which I'm sure many of listeners on here often question yourselves, can I keep going? But you do, because it's in here. You have the heart for it, and you will always pick yourself up and keep going. And I was labelled the grandma of athletics because I refused to give up. I just kept coming back time after time, but also not only just focus on my sport, but I don't forget people who have helped me along the way. And my parents always said to me, on your way up, don't forget the people you meet on the way up, because you'll meet them all the way back down as well. So I will still reach out to my local club as and when I can to give back to the young athletes that are coming through. And I'm always busy. I just try and, while I'm still alive and kicking, happy to help anyone who wants my help.
Oh, thank you. That's amazing to hear.
Thank you. So we've got a couple of questions as well. So thank you, Abby, for highlighting them in the queue. Just I got completely lost then. I don't know, my brain just went all fuzzy and I think I can't find any questions, but there's absolutely loads. So the one question is, what needs to be included when uploading our supporting information into the website? I think I'm probably the best person to allude to that. I think obviously, we touched on data, the evidence that you know what you do within an organization. Like I say, it could be, hundreds of people, it could be just 15 or 10 people within your local community, but really highlight the stories that are in there, the stories that the difference that you've made is really, really crucial. And just obviously we look at the votes as well. So the judges have the evidence that you bring, but also the votes too. So if some people aren't comfortable about, giving that evidence, the evidence is really important, but also the voting and what the voting public say is really important too. And I don't think there's a particular word count, but I would say for the judges, keep it succinct, don't keep it too long, because there is literally hundreds of nominations that people that our judges need to go through. So if you can keep it kind of condensed, but obviously with the right kind of evidence that's there. I would say try not to use ChatGPT. We do know what ChatGPT evidence looks like. Try to keep it personal to yourself, and obviously it can be a tool to help utilize that. But I would say try not to use ChatGPT as much as you can. Or any AI. Shouldn't be advertising ChatGPT really, but there's lots of AI kind of models out there. And I'm going to put this one to the judges. Are there any particular topics, areas that need to be covered within your submission, within your evidence?
We keep it. No,
and this is for diverse companies, so it's probably not. Sorry, that was for diverse companies. I'm probably going to answer that myself as well.
Yeah.
I think obviously we do the Include Top 50, so we'd like to know what you do, what your board looks like. As regards to your teams and senior teams and your middle management, and what initiatives you're doing and how you're an inclusive organization. If you want some help with that, reach out to one of my team and they can give you some more evidence about what you need as a diverse organization as well. And there's one more question, sorry.
Just something on that. Just something on that,
sorry.
Paul. When people do nominate, the what they do and the how they do is always interesting. And of course, it's based on data and evidence. But the why, don't forget to talk about the why. Particularly as judges, we want to get onto, really deep dive into the real purpose of what you're doing. And just one small comment on some of the comments that were made in the chat around people not feeling comfortable around asking for votes. And I know that can be difficult, but just imagine the impact that your work and your contribution can have on so many people. Right now you may not be singing your own praises and you might find it uncomfortable, but there's people like me who to this day remember what Jess's words were on that stage, and there's 6 million people also watching that. So don't just think about the impact that you're having right now with your communities. Have that in the back of your mind. So please don't be shy.
Fantastic. Yeah. So we've got 3 minutes left, so I'm going to do some quick fire ones. So is in the Q&A box. I think it's from Kathy Ray, which is when shortlisting, obviously quality over quantity doesn't matter about the follower count, which is lovely to hear. But when you get down to the shortlist of hundreds of people, is it people who can be who has made the biggest impact in the UK, or is it more of a complete pie with the pieces like vote, reach, and impact? Who wants to take this one?
I'll take that one. You're absolutely right. I think it's a combination. There's not just one thing. We look at everything across the board. There'll be elements of every bit that you've mentioned in that question that we all will take into consideration, and more, because we may read through and think, oh, well, that might be missing. Why have they not got that? So it's absolutely a complete pie without the doubt, especially if it's cherry pie, because I like cherry pie.
Fantastic. And I've got to say, the food is absolutely amazing as well. We go to town with everything. We make sure you're really spoiled on the day as well. We have fabulous food. It's not chicken, which tends to happen in a lot of award ceremonies. But obviously, my team will work out any dietary requirements as well. Like I say, we're completely accessible. So please reach out to my team for any of that. And there's a good question. Do a finalist have to attend the awards to win? The answer is no, but why wouldn't you want to attend an award that you can win? And another thing, that all the shortlisted nominees get free tickets to the actual awards as well. So you don't have to pay anything to go to the actual awards. Obviously, if you want more people to come, then there's fees that come from that, but you don't, you get a free ticket to actually come to the actual awards, which is really important. And it's always on a Friday, because we feel like the work that you do in the communities is phenomenal. And we don't want to take away from the work that you do throughout the week. So we hold it on a Friday night, and then you can stay over in Liverpool on a Saturday too, to experience the Liverpool culture and everything else like that. It's not a London-centric award. It's great that it's not in London. It's great that it's central to the UK, and it's really accessible for lots of people across the UK. Any last words from everybody? Because we've got 1 more minute left. Does anybody want to do any closing statements for the National Diversity Awards? Very quickly, like a sentence. We'll go to yourself, Connell.
Oh, crikey, wasn't expecting that.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. I'm just going to say that, being nominated is phenomenal, and you should all be proud of yourselves, no matter what. Winning is fabulous, but if you're being nominated, someone out there thinks you're doing a great job, and that's something that you should really, really be proud of.
Donna.
One sentence: if you haven't nominated yet, go ahead and do that. If you are second guessing yourself, don't second guess yourself. Be confident, and I look forward to reading your nominations.
Jess?
The whole process, start to finish, is worthwhile. So whether you're going to get shortlisted or win, just get out there and go and ask people for the votes, because that's a brilliant journey in and of itself.
And Dava?
No, everyone said what I wanted to say, but just thank you, Paul, for your tireless commitment to this. It's truly phenomenal. Thank you for having me, and I'm looking forward to seeing this year's nominations roll in.
And my last ones are: get nominating, get nominating, get the votes out. Don't be scared. Just go out there and just ask, could you help me? If you need any help, reach out to one of our team. They're absolutely amazing. They will answer any questions that you may have. And it's really important, not only if you have been nominated, that's great, but get other people, because I know there'll be other people in your network that you want to nominate. It might be someone in your community or that you give services to that are just phenomenal. That's a role model that helps your community organisation. So if your community organisation, there's a role model within there, you can nominate them. Easy to go to, www.nationaldiversityawards.co.uk/nominations. There's an interactive map on there as well, so you can see your nominations, you can upload your bios. It's quite easy to share as well, so you don't even have to interact with people and just share it on your social media. Go on there, we send you kind of information on how to share, what you need to do. We even send you a news kind of press release if you want to share out to your local news to get even more kind of impact if you want to do that. So you don't have to you just have to put what you do in there. So we try and make it as easy as possible. And then lots of organizations have news stories from that. ITV News said they've just come today and said they're definitely going to be covering it for this year on the local and national news, which is fantastic. They have done for many years. I just wish you all the best of luck. I hope to see you in Liverpool on the 19th of September. And if I don't, please understand that you are doing amazing work. And I just want to thank from the bottom of my heart, and I thank you for all the hard work and dedication you do to making the UK a better place for everyone. You are all amazing. Keep the faith, keep the strength, and just be you. Thank you so much. So on behalf of the fantastic panel and myself and my team, thank you so much, and we shall see you soon. Thank you.